To omniscient reader, to unordinary, hardcore leveling warrior, there is countless series on this platform that I have fallen in love with. I always check for new series, there's always new things that is recommended to me, and one series in particular that I recently discovered was this series. My Little Sister is the Demon Lord. It's a relatively new series with a very small following, as you can see here in terms of the likes on the chapters. It's not like small, but it is relatively small when you compare it to something like, Omniscient Reader, which has like, 50,000 plus and all that. So it is relatively in a smaller region. And then this is not obviously including other more popular series, let's say, on this platform. But getting back on topic though, I discovered this series because when I read the title, My Little Sister is the Demon Lord, I was like, okay, this sounds like it could be very cute, comfy, wholesome, with maybe some darker elements to it as well, because, I've seen stories kind of try to take this route, like, for instance, Beelzebub. If anyone has ever read that old school manga that came out, like, over a decade ago, it was one of my favorite anime at the time when it was airing when I was a kid, but also, it was just a really good manga, and then also, like, Zatch Bell, if anyone knows what Zatch Bell is, or Gash Bell, technically that's the Japanese term. I've always liked it where, like, a character raises a demon lord or a demon child or whatever. I've always felt like that's kind of interesting. It's a nice little, I guess, little niche within manga or storytelling that I feel like can be very thought-provoking and go down a very dark or very, I guess, great story, depending on the, quality of the writer. And so that is what drove me to sit down and read My Little Sister is the Demon Lord. Now, as you can see, there's clearly only 9 chapters out right now. There's not a lot. There really isn't. And I have read all 9 chapters. And I'm going to be blunt with you. It's very early on, and it definitely follows those tropes, those cliches, and the very themes and vibes that, normally come from these type of stories. But there is some sprinkling of greatness that is kind of thrown within these first 9 chapters I have read that kind of hint at things to come. Now, let's get into that. So our story basically starts off where we find out our main character, lost their family, or lost their mother, and he is the older brother of his little sister, which is the Demon Lord, as you can see here. This is obviously the funeral day, and thanks to her mood and all that, a massive storm came in, and you just see destruction happening all around. Basically, what this premise is setting up is that the little sister, depending on her mood swings and all that, her power is just so insane that she could literally cause catastrophe. She could cause apocalyptic scenarios if she is not kept happy. For instance, like volcanoes can erupt, storms, tsunamis, etc., if she is not in a good mood. So it kind of quickly sets up her overall power, or how strong she technically is, and if someone, was to misuse her, or just, take her down the wrong path in terms of morals, etc., she would become extremely evil, like, to the point of, like, world ending, which makes sense. She is a demon lord, or demon king, technically, in this sense. So, I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting. So we have the groundwork for a character that is super powerful, but at the same time is being tempered by her brother to be a good person, and if he isn't there, so to speak, she would probably turn out to be a really bad person. And that's technically what I got from, like, these first 9 chapters, is that what these chapters kind of hint at is if the brother was to ever disappear from the story, like if he was just gone, let's say he got killed or was just completely disconnected from his sister, something happened or whatever, she would fall into, like, an evil nature and probably destroy humanity. That's exactly what would happen. And that is a theme that this story is probably going to play with. I could definitely see that because there is hints at that, because early on, like, you have this character that is introduced that is from the future, and we have whole time shenanigans like time travel and all that taking place within this story. Basically, to kind of showcase here, you have this character that comes in and legitimately is like a robot or an android or whatever, cyborg, and she is trying to kill the Demon Lord, get rid of the Demon Lord before the world actually gets destroyed by her. And kind of find out when she sees the Demon Lord's acting very different than what she expected. For instance, acting very kind, very nice, and even a human is somehow keeping her in place, aka the brother of her. And she's really shocked about this. She's like, what's going on and all that? Why is she so different? And what this little sequence kind of implies is that in the future, where this girl comes from, most likely the brother is long gone or dead. Because we see a little flashback as well with this, like, demon elephant that, is in, like, chapter 7 or 8, that is apparently Behemoth, a creature that was the right-hand man to the demon lord, and something happened where she lost her powers or whatever, and now she is, like, the little sister of this human. And it's not really implied what's going on there. Most likely there is, once again, more time-traveling shenanigans going on, but it does let you know that the brother probably did die in the future to some degree. And I'm curious about that one, because if that does indeed happen, this could be a very dark story. A comfy story turned very dark. Now, there is a comedy tag on this, but obviously this is very early on, so this theoretically could shift and change as the series progresses. But I do like what I have read so far. So far, it does have that comfy nature to it. It has some good comedy and all that, and if you're someone that is, like, in love with, like, like Beelzebub or, Gash Bell, you're probably going to enjoy this. Like, I legitimately think you would fall in love. Like, look at her. Look how cute she is. She's so cute. But, like, I don't know. I like this series. And when I was sitting down and reading it, I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. And I was like, I know this is a little series. Not everybody's going to care about this little niche or this type of story. Because, once again, it is a niche genre within already a genre. But, I feel like there's some out there that might appreciate it for what it actually is. Now, getting into actually something else that I want to point out is Chapter 9. Chapter 9 is very sweet, and I think that this really shows a lot of significance to her character as well, the Demon Lord, is that, her mother that passed away, she clearly cared for her, because you see that, she got flowers and all that, and, the mother was very happy to receive flowers before she died, and so she remembered this, so she got her brother a flower, and it's a very sweet and cute little sequence that kind of showcases some kindness within her, and once again how, the brother is her grounding factor, keeps her sane or keeps her as a good person, and not, potentially destroying the entire world. It's just a very adorable little scene, and I could not help but smile, and I was like, this is just one of those type of series that really will just leave you with a smile, and that's what I was left with after, reading Chapter 9, but once again gets into the fact, if he was not here, things would go very dark very quickly. It's very clear by just the briefings I've already just shown within this video. But yeah, that's my overall thoughts, honestly. If you're interested, go read it. I don't want to spoil every little detail that, these 9 chapters do, but there's some good content here. There's some good jokes. I believe there's even some JoJo memes. Yeah, there's even some JoJo references that are kind of in these first 9 chapters. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do leave me a like, and if you're interested in the series, link is in the description. Click on it. It does help me out a lot, and I would greatly appreciate it. But with that, Chibi out.